y'all? Welcome back to my channel. I am Sunny Brooks, and those that are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Those who are not, welcome back. While you're here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give me the thumbs up, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified on my next video upload. And if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, drop them below. Today we're talking about shadow work. Shadow work, shadow work. Like, it is the buzz topic right now. A lot of people talk about it, but a lot of people don't know what it is. So I decided to make a video on shadow work, tell you kind of what shadow work is, some things you should do or can do to start your shadow work journey, and we'll just be covering like shadow work for beginners. Okay? So, honestly, shadow work it's when you're exploring your darker side. And I use the quotation marks because I just believe things are how they are. But it's when we explore our darker side and our shadow self. When I say darker side, that is the parts that we cover up, and it is the parts that we may repress, that we may disown, that we may reject, the part of us that we are not probably the most proud of, the parts that we kind of ignore. So when we do shadow work, we are uncovering those parts, paying attention to it, and really just embracing it while also trying to bring growth. So when you do shadow work, the pros and the outcome of doing shadow work and uncovering those parts of ourselves is growth. A lot of growth happened because you uncover parts of yourself that you probably didn't accept. A lot of transformation happened, like you transform, I won't say into a new person, but a more aware person. And when you're a more aware person, you can definitely, I feel like, change your life in a way that you want to. And it definitely allows you to reach a different level of enlightenment. Like, if you can truly dig deep and know who you are, both the sides you are happy and proud of and those that you are not, and then you can accept those and then work to make them better, like what we talk about. So shadow work definitely is ultimately about healing our difficult parts. That's like a good way to sum up shadow work. It is about healing, recognizing, like facing that thing face to face, you know, accepting it, being aware about the parts of ourselves or the parts about our lives that are the most difficult. It is the parts that we just want to kind of brush under the rug or push away, or the things that make us uncomfortable and things like that. So shadow work is just that, dealing with the most difficult parts of ourselves. And I have about 9 steps, not necessarily steps, but 9 things to consider, or 9 things to do in order to start shadow work. The first thing would be is we have to expose our inner child. I feel like that is one of the most important things when it comes to shadow work. We have to expose our inner child. I literally just told a friend the other day, look, like, I believe that we are adults, and like adults in our adult bodies, but we're really children on the inside. I always say that it's like children operating in adult bodies, because how we as adults at times throw the temper tantrums, do things for attention, or move and operate out of our childlike self. It's like, if you ever realize, it's a great example that I use. If you ever had someone, or maybe like say a parent abandoned you, and you probably healed the relationship and you start to be around them or talk to them again, you kind of feel like, say if they abandoned you at 7, you kind of revert back to that 7-year-old self when you're around them, because that inner child comes out. So the first part of shadow work is really exposing our inner child. And exposing our inner child is literally just saying, what did I need when I was a child? What did I want? What didn't I receive? And a lot of times we will see those things as a recurrent theme in our adult life if we haven't dealt with it. The second thing is we have to look at our traumas. We cannot try to do shadow work without looking at our traumas. a lot of those parts of ourselves and a lot of the parts of our life that we try to neglect or turn a blind eye to, it's probably a direct connection to our traumas and what we experience. So if we are extremely like let's say if we are extremely nasty, like we have a nasty, like people proud them, like some people proud themselves and they're like, oh, my attitude messed up. I'm like, I got a nasty attitude. Hey, but if that is probably a like coping mechanism or a defense mechanism that you learned or that you have grown to adapt based off of a trauma that you experienced. So we have to truly look at our traumas in order to understand our shadow selves, or in order to uncover our shadow selves, or those things that make us that proud, because our traumas cause us to have different coping mechanisms or defense mechanisms that may not be the healthiest or may not be for our highest good. So that's two. The third thing is we truly have to embrace and accept who we are in the midst of trying to better ourselves. Like, it's one of those things. Yes, you can better yourself. Yes, you can accept yourself. I believe both can exist. I don't believe you have to pick. I can accept that I may not be the nicest person when I feel betrayed. I can accept that I may have a bad attitude when I meet new people, right? I can accept these things, but also be working on changing them. It's a difference when we reject that part of us and we like, oh, I don't have, like kind of in denial. Oh, I don't have a bad attitude, or hey, I'm not like this, or I don't say that, or I don't have no toxic traits. Like, you reject that part. It's hard for you to change or better that part of yourself unless you accept it. So I believe that we truly have to accept who we are in the moment and everything we have to offer in order to better ourselves. And both need to exist in order to truly uncover our shadow self, and then truly in order to do the shadow work. We have to accept who we are right now. And knowing that the next thing is knowing that there is no good or bad. I do not believe in good or bad. If you ever attended one of my classes, if you're in the Vibe Tribe, if you ever saw one of my lives, anything like that, I do not believe in good or bad, right? I believe it just is, because everything is either subjective or relative, or it can be subjective and relative. It just depends on who, when, what, and where. So I don't really believe in good and bad. So you don't have to say, oh, that's the bad part of myself, or that's the negative part of myself. No, understand that there's no good or bad. It just is. You having a nasty attitude, that is not a bad thing. It's just it's who you are. Can it probably stop growth, stop your certain relationships and things, but it doesn't make it bad per se. It just is. Now, can you improve it? Yes. Everything that can be improved or that may not be serving your highest good doesn't mean that it's bad. So you have to truly understand that nothing about you is good or bad. You just are. You just are who you are, right? So in order for you to truly move on, or not necessarily move on, to embrace that part of yourself, you have to know that nothing about you is bad. Nothing about you is overly good. Like, oh, this is my good part and this is my bad part. Like, no, because you're going to have this negative connotation around that certain part of yourself. So just know that it is. That's it. Not good, not bad. It just is. And when you're doing your shadow work, listen, do not, and it's easier said than done, but try your hardest not to be in guilt or shame. The guilt and the shame is what a lot of times stops us from moving on. Stops us from, we can recognize maybe our trauma and our inner child, but we can start feeling shameful. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I let that happen, or I don't like that happened, or I feel guilty that I let this happen, or something like that. Or I feel guilty that I let this go on so long. And when we feel guilt and shame, we don't really want to do the work after that. So acknowledge it instead. Instead of guilt and shame, I want you to have acknowledgement. Acknowledgement instead. Acknowledgement instead of guilt and shame. Okay? The next one, I think, what number I'm probably 6, right? Probably 6. So the 6th thing is figure out what you need to break, what you need to heal, and or accept about yourself. That's a perfect phrase to ask yourself at the beginning of shadow work. What do I need to break? Like, what habits do I need to break? What things about myself do I need to break? Like, I just need to, what relationship that I maybe need to break off? Like, what do I need to break? And what do I need to heal? We know, like, we may not know everything we need to heal, but we know some of the things that we need to heal or some places to start. So what do I need to heal? What do I need to break? But what do I need to heal? What part of myself do I need to heal? And the next like thing is quite difficult for us to talk about is, what part of myself do I need to accept? Like, what do I need to accept about myself? I know this may be like really difficult, but honestly, like, what part that you kind of disown or that you may not recognize or you may not accept, or the part that people may say and you like, oh no, that's not me, or no, I would never, or something, or people are saying this thing constantly to you and you're just like, no, that's not me, or no, I don't see it. Like, what part of you do you need to accept, right? If you're not looking at it good or bad, if you're just looking like, it is what it is, because it could be a coping mechanism, it could be something that protected you in the past, whatever. What part of you do you need to accept? So what do you need to break? What do you need to heal? And what do you need to accept? Number 7, I want you to know through the entire process of shadow work, your feelings are valid. I don't care who, what, whatever. I don't care what they said. Your feelings are valid. You do not need anybody to validate your experience or validate your emotions. You don't need anybody to say, okay, Jennifer, like, I don't remember Uncle saying that to you when we grew up, or I was there, that's not how it happened. You don't need anybody to validate anything. You don't need anybody to say, okay, well, yeah, I could see like why you were upset. Like, no, you don't need that, because if you're looking for the validation, you're gonna always look for it. Like, you don't need any parts of it. If someone say, I just don't understand how you could be so disappointed about it, she did it to everybody. It's your feelings, okay? So you do not need anyone to validate your feelings, because your feelings are valid. They're valid. If you feel whatever you feel about whatever or whoever, they're valid. They're valid. You don't need anybody confirmation or validity, right? It's you. You're valid. The 8th thing is, I want you to start small first and then work your way up. So for example, you may know you struggle with, let's say, you know, you that one may be too big, but say you may know you struggle with biting your nails. Start there versus trying to start on the coping mechanism that you have used to protect yourself from abandonment since you was a child. That's going to be much harder to deal with or uncover than something that's smaller that recently happened, or a habit that is a little smaller. And I hate to use breaking your nails, but I can't really think of an example. I hate to say biting your nails, but I can't think of an example that would be small per se, but I would say start smaller. Start at the smaller surface things, or at the things that's not that difficult, and then work your way up, because you're going to build the confidence. You're going to build the, you can build up the momentum to get to the deeper stuff, because you're like, oh, I can do this. Like, that ain't like, it ain't nothing. I did this one, I did this one, I did this. Start small and then work your way up. Don't try to jump out the gate like with the biggest stuff, because it could be intimidating and you could get discouraged. So start small, build up your confidence, and then work your way up. And then the last thing is, be easy on yourself. When you're doing shadow work, like, do not beat yourself up. Do not say mean things to yourself. Give yourself grace. Be easy on yourself. It is enough stuff going on in the world and enough people that are telling us we are not good enough, we don't look good enough, we don't have what we need to have, and things like that. No, be easy on yourself, be nice to yourself, be kind to yourself, give yourself grace. It is okay. We are all trying to figure out how to operate in life and how to navigate this earth, right? So be easy on yourself. We don't expect anybody to have it figured out, but once you are more aware and once you truly accept who you are, you can grow and be whoever and whatever you want, and truly transform into your best version of yourself, okay? So this is shadow work. If y'all have any questions, comments, or concerns below. Drop them below. And if you have ever done shadow work before, give me your experience, or if you have any prompts or anything, just share them below so other people could be encouraged. And yeah, until we meet again, I love you. Bye.